Hi everybody, Sean P. Connor here, aka Mr. M3. I just wanted to chat today about overall M3 organization when it comes to companies, divisions, facilities, and warehouses. So usually this is the first thing that people want to give a lot of thought before implementing M3. So the easiest one's usually a warehouse. We all kind of conceptualize what a warehouse is, a place where we store a bunch of goods we ship out of, and usually those are pretty well defined. Underneath those warehouses, you have in M3 stock zones and locations. So within a warehouse, you have different zones that you can strategically use for picking, and then also within a warehouse, you have all kinds of locations. Now, warehouses are assigned to facilities. In my current world, a facility is regional. So the Rocky Mountains or perhaps the Pacific Northwest, those are facilities. Facilities are important because all the costing lives at the facility level. So average cost in one particular facility and then all of the warehouses assigned to that facility all share the same average cost. So again, in my world, we have facility in the Pacific Northwest that has multiple warehouses, and then one in the Rocky Mountains that has multiple warehouses. So the cost of those goods are shared, or are exactly the same for all those warehouses. So facilities are defined to divisions, and ultimately it rolls up to a company. So when you log in and out of M3, you're logging into a company and a division. Items, customers, suppliers, all of that is the same throughout the whole entire company. If you wanted to have a different instance of M3 or a different company altogether, you would have a whole different set of items, customers, and suppliers. The programs for setting up a company, MNS 095, for setting up a division is MNS 100, facility CRS 008, warehouses MMS 005, stock zones and locations MMS 040, MMS 010. Now when you're actually configuring this, you have to start out with creating a company. Most likely Infor has some type of implementation accelerator where they have companies, divisions, facilities, and that kind of thing already set up. Generally speaking, when you set these up, you don't want them to start with a 0. That's my general rule. Don't have it start with a 0. Think of Excel. You're going to download and play with this data a ton, and zeros tend to drop off in the world of data. So anything other than that, I think you're A-okay. So company. Then after that, you're going to connect a division to a company, and then you're going to create facilities, and then you're going to create warehouses. And they're all intertwined. As you create company divisions, facilities, and warehouses within your system, you're referencing each other. And a lot of tables are populated with a lot of this data. So once you start moving parts around, receiving, shipping, doing the whole order to cash thing, those facilities and warehouses and divisions, all of that is stamped all throughout the system. And so it makes it really, really, really hard if you want to move a warehouse to a different facility. It's actually impossible to do without a consultant and people working on the back end to do that. And it's highly recommended not to. So in this example, my company is Company 101. Underneath Company 101, I have two divisions. I have Division 100, which is going to represent the US, and I have Division 200, which is representing Canada. Your divisions don't have to be countries. They could even be regional. Think of, you could have one division, and one division can hold all your facilities and hold all of your warehouses. But in my example, this is how it's configured. Underneath the 100 division, I have two facilities, Pacific Northwest and Rocky Mountain. Underneath the Pacific Northwest, I have two warehouses, 101 and 102. And underneath the Rocky Mountains, I have 103. Now, all of these you can put descriptions in the system. In the world of M3, you're not just looking at 101. You'd have a name associated to 101. Same with the Pacific Northwest and all the other pieces of information that you have here too. What I'm talking about is just the key field, the key name that represents that particular company, division, facility, or warehouse. On your day-to-day operations working in M3, you're going to be logged into a company and a division. If you have a lot of divisions, you're potentially going to be logging in and out of different companies and divisions, and it makes for pretty tedious work. That's why to minimize this, it always makes sense. Don't start the naming convention with a 0. Once you set it up, you're stuck with it. Moving warehouses into different facilities after go live is not recommended. It takes a lot of back-end work. And then when you're setting all this stuff up, think of potential growth. As an example, let's say today you have one warehouse in Denver, and you think, you know what, I'm going to create a facility called Denver, and I'm going to put the one warehouse in. But then next year you acquire a company that has another warehouse in Wyoming. And you're thinking, you know what, logistically, both of those should be under the same facility. And you don't want to put Wyoming under Denver. So I guess what I'm saying is think of growth. A good test for your org chart, ask yourself, if I were to acquire a different company, how would that fit into this org chart? And as long as you can go through that exercise 2 or 3 different ways, maybe even have a couple of people in your organization do the same type of thing, and as long as it works for you, sounds good to me. Anyways, check out my other videos. This is a new YouTube channel, and I plan to deliver a ton of content. I've been using M3 for a very long time, and you know what? It's time to share some of that knowledge.